a big fan of masculinity. I think men need more groups of men to hang out
100%.
with, the boys. I've been to jail twice. First time, didn't learn my lesson. Second time, I got 4 years. And that's when I kind of had my world turn upside down. I realized that, well, I'm getting 4 years of my life taken away. So I only started with pills for like raves and that. And then I realized that, man, pills aren't making me any money because it's a seasonal thing. All the big festivals are at the end of the year when it's spring, summer.
Spring and summer, yeah.
So I'm making
Park Life. And,
yeah, Park Life.
Yeah, I work out
Future.
all of them. Future, all of them.
Pleasure to be here, on top, men on top.
He gave us the intro already, bro. Bro, I want to ask you a couple of things, bro. I've seen your Insta, and I think you're on TikTok as well, yeah?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok too.
And obviously you got a very bright personality.
Thank you.
And you're straight up. And we like those type of guys, yeah? SG?
Yeah.
Always.
Call a spade, bro.
And especially on this pod, we like to get all the guys out. Like we try promoting masculinity. Something
Yep.
that guys have lost. You know what I mean?
I'm a big fan of masculinity. I think men need more groups of men to hang out
100%.
with, the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just at my missus' mate's baby shower and I was gonna crack some jokes. And then I knew that they were gonna say stuff like, oh, that's slack and that's mean. And then in my head I was just like, man, you guys don't even know what the boys say in their group chats.
Oh. Do you are you talking about the WhatsApp group?
Yeah, the WhatsApp. You don't even know what boys say in their WhatsApp group chat. Nobody.
What about
knows.
the videos?
Bro? so then this was my second thought after that. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna allow my daughter or my sons to ever be fat because I know what is said in the group chats and I cannot let my kids be a victim of that. And I refuse. I'll be a bad parent.
He's gone.
What do you mean by fat?
I would say second chin. That's a starter.
Yeah.
For guys, if you have trouble looking at your dick, that's another one. Like, yeah,
agree with that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, you know what? It depends. It depends. Like some guys, I know guys in the gym who are a little bit heavier, but they power lift, but they still do a bit of cardio, but they're in shape and they're looking after themselves. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, like with those guys, you probably don't get picked on as much. But like, I just want to minimize the amount of chances that my kids could possibly be a victim of fat shaming and fat jokes behind their back.
Not just that, bro. It's better for your mental health.
Yeah, of course.
Because you look good, you feel good.
Yeah,
And when you're training, you're fit.
100%.
You know, you're not going to be bothered not to get up. You're not lazy. You know what I mean? You know what? Let's go back a bit. Andrew, give us an introduction.
Yes.
This is a late one now. So it's an intro in the intro.
Yes. Guys, my name is Andrew Trung, One Out Training. I am a fitness coach. I'll run it all the way back. I've been to jail twice. First time, didn't learn my lesson. Second time, I got 4 years. And that's when I kind of had my world turn upside down. I realized that, well, I'm getting 4 years of my life taken away. And I was mentally broken. I didn't know what to do with myself. But within the 2 years, my first 2 years of jail, I was lost. I only played cards. I was just doing laps in the yard and all that. And then every single day, I was just looking for hope. I used to pray every single day. And I was like, God, if you're out there, like, can you make me a better person, please? And can you just give me like a light sentence, 2 years maybe? And then fast forward, sentencing date came. 2 years happened. I was expecting time served. I was hoping for time served. By the way, I got done commercial supply. And then I got 4 years. So I already done 2. That means I had 2 left to go. And I was shattered. I was like, oh man, God doesn't exist. What do I do? Anyways, I made myself the promise because I knew I was going to this jail called Oberon, where all the young offenders go. And I knew at Oberon that you could have fresh meat buy up. So you get plenty of protein, good quality food. And I was like, you know what? If I'm going to go to a jail that's got good supply of food, I'm going to make the most of it by training hard. So when I got there, I just started training. And then when I started training, I started reflecting on myself, my life. And there was a moment, because at Oberon, you have to do this thing called a camp. You got to do 3 camps. So they take you out on camp and you just got to hike for days. Like you just got to walk in these crappy ass shoes where there's no soles. You got to put dishwashing sponges onto your soles and onto the end of the boot just so it would reduce how messed up your feet will get. Anyways, you're just hiking for days, and then on the first night, it was at midnight was my 25th birthday, and I was sitting around the campfire with the boys, and half the boys had gone back to their tents to sleep, and it was like just me and a couple Islander boys and one Asian bloke. And I remember, and I was just sitting there at the campfire, and it was midnight was my 25th birthday, and I sat there and I was like, man, a quarter of my life is going to pass in about a couple of hours. What am I doing with my life? I'm going to get out at 27 years old with nothing to my name, nothing to show. I'm not even fit or healthy. I got literally nothing. 27 is the age where everyone outside is getting married, buying a home, finishing uni, starting a business, having kids, all these milestones. And I'm like, I got nothing. I got nothing to show for myself. But then as I was reflecting, I looked around and like all the other boys in that same camp group that I was with, like they'd been in and out before too. And I was like, fuck, I can't believe I'm going to be like these guys. Like, I can't believe I'm going to keep coming in and out of jail like them. Like, I'm not like that. I can't be like that. And then, because I knew there was going to be 2 more hard camps coming up after this first one. And I was like, you know what? Don't worry about anything else. Let's just focus on the next 2 camps and get through that. So how do I get through these next 2 camps? All right, well, when I get back to the jail, I'm going to train so hard that my body becomes super fit that I won't struggle in these camps. And then fast forward, I've never stopped training since. And then fast forward even more, I realized that God doesn't give you what you want. He just gives you the path. Because without those extra 2 years, I wouldn't have trained and I wouldn't have become the person that I am today.
What an intro. Respect.
It's actually a really good way to look at it.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's actually very good, bro.
Yeah, and then now also on the side, I do youth mentoring for the charity Confit Pathways. And we just help young boys, mentor them, teach them about another way in life. Like, if you're struggling, use fitness as the foundation, the baseline to improving your life. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be an ex-con, you don't have to be in juvie, you don't have to be in jail to use fitness as a foundation to better your life. You can be anyone.
Yeah.
If you're struggling, fitness is the baseline. Like, a strong body is a strong mind.
Yeah.
That's
true,
absolutely true. Because you know why? It requires discipline.
There, bro. Fuck motivation.
Fuck motivation. Discipline's everything.
Discipline's everything, bro.
That's the one.
Because when you're not motivated, but you still go, it's discipline.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you've been like, you know, when you go to the gym and you can't be fucked.
Yeah.
And you go, fuck it, I'll go. And you're fucking dreading when you're walking, like, bro. But you still do it. Halfway through, you're like, you know, fuck it, it's all right.
Yeah. Not like me the other day.
Yeah, but you're at work.
You know what I did?
Yeah.
Bro, I'm not proud of it. I said to myself, if I can wake up and get to the shower,
Yeah.
when you're in that mindset, especially in winter,
Oh, bro.
you're waking up and you're like, I got to get to the gym. You're waking up at 5 a.m. I got to get to the gym. You probably would jump back in bed and go to sleep. I said to myself, okay, my first goal is the shower.
Yeah.
If I can get to that shower, then after the shower, I could do whatever.
Yep.
I had my shower, got ready, packed the bag, jumped in my car, drove to the gym, had a look at my work phone, sent a couple of texts. I looked at the gym, I started the car, and I fucking drove home. Like, bro.
You've done all the hard work already.
Yeah.
And you felt like shit.
Bro, I've never done that before in my life.
Happens, man. Happens.
It's never happened to me before. I couldn't believe it. I was so pissed off with myself. But yeah, so that's like a very weak moment. But if you're disciplined, that won't happen. That'll never happen.
No. Slip-ups do happen, bro.
Yeah, that was a slip up. Look, I'm actually putting my hand
I will do some push-ups after this pod. What do you reckon?
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
No
we're gonna have
worries.
to fix that with some
We'll
push-ups.
have to make up for
Yeah.
it.
Bro, where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in Miller. Actually, you know what? My parents moved around heaps. So I first started out like around the Birrong, Villawood area. So my primary school days were there, and then in my last year before, you know, in year 6 before you go into high school,
Yeah.
my parents decided to buy a house out in Busby.
Yeah.
And I moved out there, and I didn't have trouble making new friends because I was all right with like being social, but just that idea of like, oh man, I gotta start with a whole bunch of new friends, and then I only had 6 months to make friends before you go into high school and you're like, with these people for the rest of your life. And so like it was like a big transitioning period in my life where like, I had to be more social. Anyways, as I got to high school, I soon realized that I was like the odd kid out because for some reason, everyone had like brothers and sisters. I was like the only kid that was an only child. So all throughout high school, I had this like belonging dilemma going on, this complex. And I guess like, because my parents are at work and they're trying to pay off this house that we just bought, I'm always like just doing whatever. Like no one's watching me. So I'm always trying to like belong to people. I don't have anyone like any siblings at home to hang out with. Yeah. And then eventually it kind of just led me to like hang out with like the boys all the time.
Yeah.
Hang out with the boys all the time. And then that kind of like not snowboard, but like that became a very routine thing. Like throughout the end of high school, I just went to a lot of parties. I started underage drinking pretty early, like but everyone does. It's normal. In
No
Sydney.
comment. Yeah,
Yes, everyone does. I just realized, yeah, everyone does. It's not something special. But yeah, I started underage drinking pretty early. I didn't start taking drugs early until the end of school. The end of school is when like my drug taking days were very recreational. I started taking drugs when I started going raves. Typical Asian thing. Yeah. And then that spiraled a little bit out of control because it started at raves. And then I started to use it at house parties because I was chasing a high. And then one of my mates, lucky I got good mates, one of my mates pulled me up. We had like a little intervention. My mate's like, cuz, what are you doing with your life, bro? You don't take drugs to escape reality. You take it to enhance it. And then I was like, right, man. So I stopped.
What did he say? What did he say?
He goes, you don't take drugs to escape reality. You take it to enhance it. That's it. Don't use it to escape reality. And then I thought for a second, yeah, what am I doing? Like, why am I taking it at a house party? Didn't make sense to me. And then, but really, I was just chasing a high. Anyway, so I stopped taking it at house parties. I'm like, all right, I'll just take it at raves, just enjoy myself. And then when the night ends, that's it, done. And then because I was in this scene of social events, and at that time I was at uni too. So I'm around like people like around my age who just want to go partying all the time. And at that time, I think all the clubbing was still in the city. All the karaoke bars, everything was in the city. So we're always traveling to the city. And when you're a young adult, things cost a lot of money when you want to go out, tables, drinks, alcohol, all these things cost money. And I was always in the social circles and I knew a lot of people. So I decided, you know what? I am going to fill a gap in the market because people need drugs and I'm going to be the one to supply it to all of them. So then I fell down that pathway to make quick money and to support my social lifestyle because I was just a very social person. Because of like the early parts of high school where I didn't have a brother and sister, my friends, my family were my friends. So I always like just gravitated to people. Anyways, when I started selling drugs, so I only started with pills or like raves and that. And then I realized that, man, pills aren't making me any money because it's a seasonal thing. All the big festivals are at the end of the year when it's spring, summer.
Spring and summer, yeah.
So I'm making...
Park Life.
Yeah, Park Life.
Yeah, I worked out all of them.
Future.
all of them. There was the other one as well.
Stereosonic.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Them, bro.
All of them.
All of them. Yeah, I went to all of them. But yeah, and then I realized I was making no money in winter. Literally no money because there was no raving at that time. And I'm like, I've got to find something else. So I started selling weed. And then I realized that the profit margins were way too small, too little. And then what happened? Oh yeah, I got locked up for firearm charges. So the cops hit my house looking for pills, and they find a firearm. Anyways, I beat the charge based off a technicality and a loophole because my parents confiscated it off me. So it wasn't in my possession anymore. But they charged me for possession. And then I beat the charge, I got out, and one of my mates introduced me to a friend of a friend, and then they got me into selling heroin. And then that's when I went down that path of selling heroin. I'm like, wow, this is money. Yeah, and that led me into the 4 years of jail. So yeah. So
While you were partying as well.
yeah, while I was partying.
Where'd you go out? Were you in the city partying?
But yeah, I went to the city. So I went to all the Asian clubs near Capital Square, right in the center.
Opposite Red Room.
Yeah, I think so.
Bamboo.
Yeah,
Veranda bar?
Yeah.
I used to work there as well.
Back in those days, yeah, those were the ones.
Those days were wild, man.
Yeah, I think it was Veranda Bar. Almost.
Yeah,
got
Veranda
jumped.
Bar, and then around the corner, Martin Place was Bamboo.
Yeah, that's the one. I almost got jumped at
And there was
Veranda
Civic
Bar once.
Hotel. And,
Yep, Civic
yeah.
Hotel. That's the one. Yeah, back in the days.
Yeah. There was heaps.
Because I was making so much money, like for me at that time, $3,000 a week was a lot of money. For me at that time.
Even at that time, if you're looking just 10 years ago, $3,000 a week's a lot of money.
Yeah, and
It's good money.
I was spending it as quick as I was making it. But I was just enjoying life because I was such a social person, and I just spent it all on my mates. And then when I got arrested, I realized I had nothing. And fast forward, my life just went, yeah.
You know, when you got arrested, bro, like, were you just become red hot? How did that happen?
Okay, so honestly,
When, like, you were, like, selling and... How did
Yeah.
that work?
honestly, I reckon I was getting sloppy. I was just getting real sloppy with the places that I was meeting people. And yeah, I reckon I was just getting real sloppy with it. And then somehow, like, there was a task force, not a task force, but like people watching me. And then the funny thing is, I could have gotten away with it. I would have gotten away with it. So the morning of when I got arrested, so I had, me and my mates had this safe house. And my mates would come over and play FIFA with me. Anyways, that one morning, I wasn't there, but he was playing FIFA with one of my other mates. And he left the house and he got pulled over. He didn't have anything on him, but this guy's just annoying me to play FIFA. Like, but leave me alone. You know? Yeah, but I didn't call him back. I didn't call him back at all. Anyways, later that afternoon, I come back to the house and I grab my things from the house and I leave the house and I'm around the corner and I'm at this 7-Eleven in Fairfield. 7-Eleven in Fairfield Heights. And I pull in. And as I pull in and I get out to fill up my car, a car pulls up behind me, just a regular car. And a guy walks up to me. He's like, hey, I'm from Cabramatta Police Station. I'm a detective. And I'm like, oh, here we go. No. Anyways, starts searching me, finds everything. Then I'm sitting on the side of the road. And I'm just like, oh my God. Mind you, that same day, yeah, things could have happened so much better. My co-offender that morning, he also left the house and he got arrested too. He got arrested and he got pulled over and he tried to do the runner. And as he's doing the runner, he's throwing saddies out of his nutsack.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, they got the dog squad back and they found everything. But they only charged him with possession. And then he got released from Fairfield Cop Shop and he's trying to leg it back to the house. But he doesn't leg it back into the house before I leave the house. And then as he's gotten back to the house, because the house is in the middle of a preschool on one side and a primary school on the other, he's gone out the back way of the house and he's jumped over the fence and he's in the preschool sandbox and he's looking through the little hole in the fence. And he can see the coppers just walking out of the house, taking everything. He could have gotten back in the house and cleaned everything out if I had just gotten there a bit later.
Wow.
Yeah. It was just by margins. And he was just sitting in the sandbox going.
But some things are supposed to, just meant to be, man.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, are you glad that it turned out that way for you?
100%. 100%.
Would you call that the turning point, even though it's a negative?
Yep. But I think, yeah, the divine intervention, and like now when I look back in hindsight, it was all meant to be that way because there was no other way I was going to get fit. You know, at that time, I was trying to get back into the gym. I was trying to train. I had all these My Muscle Chef meals in the freezer that I never ate. You know, when I'm out on my runs, what I'll do is I'll go to Hungry Jack's, order that big brekkie wrap every single morning and dip it in barbecue sauce. Like, that was me every day. And I had all these My Muscle Chef meals in the freezer and I'll never eat them. Never. So, yeah. I was genuinely trying to get my fitness back and my health back. And I was really overweight at the time. So I was about 15 kilos heavier, around like 85, 90 kilos. And now I look back, like at first, I remember my mates coming to visit me and they realized that I got fit. One of my mates was like, cuz maybe this is like the best thing to have ever happened to you. You getting locked up. And I was like, bro, come on, but please, man. Don't joke like that, bro. And then but now when we look back, we're like, man, this really was the best thing to have happened to me.
Yeah, because then you learnt your lesson as well.
Oh yeah, bro, 100%. 100%. Like I've learned more than just my lesson. I've learned so many valuable things, like how much time means to me now. I've learned that when you do time, it's not just you, it's the people around you. Your family's doing time too, and your friends are doing time. Like they take time out of their weekend to come visit you. Like they got to get up at 3 a.m. just to get out to Bathurst or Oberon, drive all the way out there just for a 1 hour visit. And when you need money in your account, like it's them putting money in your account, and it's not like $100 is coming out of their ass. It's coming out of their wages that they're working every single day for. And I learned so much about politics in jail too. I learned about, I actually learned about calories in jail too. This is one thing that I took away from really well. And I learned about how to better yourself too, because, I give every time someone asks me for advice, because I'm a PT and I'm a coach, people always ask me, bro, can you help me? I need advice. And I'm like, look, bro, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to sell you something, or do you want me to give you my genuine, honest opinion from where you are, fat and overweight, to looking your best? Do you want me to give you the best steps, or do you want me to sell you a program? Like, what do you want me to do? And then a lot of times they'll just tell me, bro, just give me the honest answer. I'm like, all right, the honest answer doesn't involve me making money. Okay, but here it is. Go to a class-based gym. So those CrossFit gyms, those F45s, those community gyms. Because when you're training in those environments, you vibe off each other. And that's how I started too. Like when I was in jail, even if I had a day where I did not feel like training, the boys would be like, bro, let's go, man. Let's go. We're doing sprints. Let's go. We're doing burpees. Like if you're in a group mentality, in a group environment, every day is training day.
Yeah, it's a competition.
Yeah, competition, but every day is training day.
There's healthy competition.
Yeah, healthy competition.
Yeah.
Yeah. But me and my Koi, we had the best and the most healthy competition. Like, there was one point in our sentence where we used to look around the yard and we're like, bro, all these fuckers are doing muscle ups and me and you can't, bro. What's going on? We are the fittest and the strongest, bro. Why can't we do muscle ups? So every single day we just practice trying to do muscle ups. And then I got the first muscle up and I was just laughing in his face for a good, I think 2 or 3 days. And then out of nowhere, he pumped three in a row. And I was like, bro, something's wrong.
Tell us what a muscle up is for the...
All right, so a muscle up is from the dead hang position, and you got to do a pull up and then over the bar into a dip. So that's a muscle up. So once you got the form, it's pretty easy, but when you're trying it, it's really hard. It's really hard, and it's a really good achievement for a bloke. So when we were pushing for it, he got his 3 and he was just laughing in my face for a week, and then I got 5, and then we just kept leveling up.
That's the best way to motivate each other, man.
Yeah. And then so that's that.
But how was jail?
Jail was,
Did you have a good time, rough time?
did you
have a bit of a scrap?
I had moments, but I didn't have too many scraps. So when in my first 2 years, I was kind of I spent my first year at Bathurst.
How old were you, by the way?
I was 24.
24.
Yeah, 24. So at that time, not many young Asian boys were getting locked up anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you still had the older Asian heads that were just coming in and out of jail. And I was at Bathurst, so there's not many Asian people. It was a full Koori jail. Literally, for those that don't know, Kooris are Aboriginals. Just New South Wales Aboriginals only.
Indigenous.
Yeah, Indigenous. Anyways, So I was at Bathurst for a whole year, and at that time it was just before the area codes and area beefings happened. So I was in the era of like you stick to your nasho, so you stick to your nationality, and that's it. Like the Muslim boys was hanging out with the Muslim boys. The Kooris would hang out with the Kooris. The Asians would hang out with the Asians. The Islanders would hang out with the
how it
Islanders.
was,
Yeah. Back in those days.
That's how it was.
Yeah. And I just stuck with the Asian boys, and it was real like quiet, bro. I'd like literally like all day because I didn't know what to do with my life. I was just sitting there in the yard. I didn't get involved in any of the politics because one, I didn't use drugs. Two, I didn't smoke. So like anything that like affected other people normally didn't affect me because I was just like, bro, let me out already. Like, what's going on? So I just sat there in the yard all day. Anyways, and then they wouldn't let. Oh yeah. So I tried to get into the working pod. So there's a working pod where time flies, and that's where all the Asians were. So I was just waiting to go over there, and they were like, listen, you got to be sentenced to be in the working pod. You can't be on remand. So on remand just means you're unsentenced. And then I was like, all right, cool. So I just sat in that wing for literally 6 months. I remember a couple of times, like small things happened, like we almost rioted because the cigarette ban was started. Or there was one time where something happened in the next yard where the boys refused to get locked in. And then I remember the boys in our yard were like, you know what? If the boys in the other yard aren't getting locked in, we're sticking staunch with them. So then I remember me and all the boys were ballying up, but then nothing happened because it turned out to be nothing.
Yeah.
It turned out to be. But I remember seing them come
Everyone
down.
got locked in.
Yeah, everyone got locked in.
Fair enough.
I remember seeing, but they came down with the dog squad and the tear gas guns and everything.
The whole
I'm like,
shebang.
bro, all right, so I'm going to get shot in the face today. Let's go. But yeah, and then I was like, okay, cool. But that time, I remember my hardest time in jail was when I had no TV. Like I was doing head miles and I was just like, man, just overthinking things. But when TV, like when I got my first TV, life was easy. I realized jail was so much easier when you got a TV. It's just that distraction there.
Yeah.
Yeah, something else to focus on. Anyways, then I went to the A wing where you work, and they have this thing called a lolly shop that you work in. And bro, I got so fat there. Like, so jail's smart. It's a business. It's a business that makes money off the inmates. So you got buy up in jail, and like it's like a canteen order list that you can like put your form down. Like you can tick off how many you want, how many noodles you want, how much Kit Kats you want, and all of that. And what the jail does is they buy everything in wholesale, like big
bulk.
amounts. Yeah, bulk. And what they do is they'll get the inmates to repackage it into smaller bits, smaller bags. So we'd sit there on a line with a scale, scooping up candy into a bag, pass it on, someone seals it, and you could eat as much as you want at the lottery shop too. So I spent
Because you're working there.
Yeah, because you're working there. But they'd pay us literally, I think, $25 a week. It was nothing. It was nothing.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's crazy. And then, you know, most of the boys...
Slave labor, bro.
Yeah.
It's the best way.
Yeah, most of the boys would just end up using that money to buy cigarettes for the week.
Cigarettes are very expensive now.
Yeah, I heard, bro. I
Yeah.
It's
$25 is a bargain now.
Oh, bro.
It's like $400-500.
Yeah, the last time before I left, I'm pretty sure my cellie at the time was selling it for $400 or $600.
Wow.
Yeah, $400 or $600
For a cigarette.
Yeah.
Like it's a like a pouch.
Full bizzo.
Yeah, full pouch, bro.
Yeah, full pouch.
Bizzo.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it is. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
But even jail, like when they get the inmates to work, that's cheap labor.
it is, bro. It
Because
is
if you're making stuff for the outside,
business, bro.
it's a business, bro.
It's an enterprise.
And jail's privatised now as well.
Yeah,
Most of the jails are privatised now, aren't they?
Yeah,
No, not all of them.
Parkley and I think there's another one, Junee.
They're going to soon move over like that.
Yeah, bro.
It's only going to get worse.
Yeah, but like I remember having like small little scuffles in jail. Like it wasn't much. It was like issues over when. So like there's this thing when one of the boys go home, you don't take your things home with you. You kind of leave it for the boys in there that don't have anything. So that's what you do. And I remember one of the Asian boys, I think they were going home, and they said they were going to leave me a rice cooker. But one of the other boys tried to take it, and then there was an issue there, and I had to just go punch him in the face. But that was it. That's all I remember doing. And then I remember the older boys going, bro, what'd you do that for? Like, blah, blah, blah.
It's my rice cooker.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, this is it. And then that's all I remember. Oh, yeah. Actually, there was one time we were meant to go to war when we were at the young offenders jail. So what happened? Who started it? Let me just try and remember who started this.
You know, with the young offenders, is
Yeah.
it more mixed or is it still segregated?
No,
Asians with the Asians,
nah, yeah,
Islanders
it's still
with the...
segregated, bro. So like, because I think your upbringing has to do with it too, yeah. Because so I remember at Oberon, like naturally the jail is gonna be more white, like Australian white, but you still got like a decent mix of people and pockets of people. Like you had like, and I think you still had your nationalities, but the boys from Sydney just understood what life was like growing up, and we all had similar upbringings. Because I noticed like the boys from the country, Newcastle ways, like they had a different, not aura, but like the way they thought was a little bit different.
Sydney is a bit odd
Yeah.
out of all of them. Even
Yeah.
when like people from Melbourne, anywhere,
Yeah,
they always
but-
say Sydney's
But
fucked. Yeah.
But that's the thing, like we could connect, and I could connect with the boys from Sydney.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my training group at Oberon was one Assyrian bloke, a Turkish bloke. We had a couple Islander boys too. My Kowi, who's half Philo, half Aussie, and we did have a Lebo at one point until he left. So like, it was very mixed. It was very mixed. We had like a good group of boys. Like my training crew was a very good group of boys. So yeah, that was mixed.
Jail's interesting, eh?
Yeah.
So it was interesting. How are the Asians in jail?
Oh, bro, that's a good question. You know what? Personally, so I
Because
mean-
I've asked
yeah,
this before.
Yeah.
Like I've had different answers from,
Yeah.
but
All right.
I want to
So
ask someone like that's
I
been in with.
I can
the
only
pack.
speak between 2014 to 2018.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can only speak about my time then. I don't know what it's like now, but I had just come in at the end of an era of like the older Asian boys being absolutely ruthless. I had just come in off the end of that era. Like those boys aren't even, like they're not around anymore, or they're like quieting down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like naturally you hang out with your Asian boys inside jail, but when I got to the young offenders program, there was maybe like a couple of like hard Asian boys left that were just like tough. And then they left that jail, and it was, like I had to step into that role by myself. And the boys that I was left with weren't like, they didn't want to train. They just wanted to chase drugs all day. They were soft. The boys that I was with were just soft.
Are you talking about Asians?
Yeah, the Asian boys that I was with was just soft. I had to lead. So like the boys that were leading the boys before me, they were like solid boys. And then they left the jail because their time had come. They'd come back to Sydney for work release, and like their time at Oberon had just like ended. And then I was just left with leading the charge for the boys, for the Asian boys. But my problem was none of them wanted to train. So I was left like, and naturally you have to look after your nationality. You just had to. And I had big shoes to fill because they just didn't want to train. So I didn't connect with them as much as I could have or should have, because I spent all my days with my training crew. I didn't hang out with the Asian boys anymore, but we still had like our Asian cook-ups and like monthly like hangouts and all that. But like, bro, like I spent all day training. It was like, wake up, let go, train, and then go to work, come back, train, go grab something to eat, maybe have a nap, train, and then go out to the footy field and then play footy. But then none of the Asian boys play footy too. So yeah, I had come in at a weird time, you know, because I was like, I'm not born here, but I grew up here. So I understand the culture, and like the Asian boys are kind of split too, because you either import Chinese and you like fresh from China, or you were just like a nerdy Asian kid.
Wow.
Or you're one of the oldies, but none of, because I was at Oberon, there's no one old.
But what's your national?
So I'm Vietnamese.
Yeah. Vietnamese are the They say they're the ones you got to be careful of.
They're the ruthless
Yeah,
ones.
they're the crazy ones at the bunch.
Yeah. They're the
It used
crazy
to be
ones.
like that when we used to work as well. So when we used to work at Bamboo and that.
Oh yeah, bro. Yeah, they're the crazy ones.
The ones that used to kick it off with the Vietnamese. Like you have the Chinese.
Yeah.
They'll usually be at the back. They're the karaoke boys and that.
Yeah,
They'll
yeah.
be there drinking. But the Viets, once they lose it,
That's it,
it's
yeah.
and it's not like punch on
Nah.
bottles, pens. Like it's fucking gets crazy.
Everything
That
comes
that
off.
I still remember that. That was insane. There was another club as well. You probably won't remember. It was called Gas.
Nah, I don't remember that one.
So Gas Night Club was like the original Bamboo V Bar.
Yeah.
It's the old Pump House. You remember Pump House?
Nah.
So it's towards I think Darling Harbour, like Haymarket.
Oh yeah.
When I
But
was
Gas,
growing up,
Gas Nightclub.
when I was growing up, I remember that well, and there was also Shark Bar. I don't know
Yeah,
if it's still around.
Shark Bar is still there, which is Space Bar. That's the one on
yeah.
Elizabeth Street. But
Yes.
the main one was Gas, where they had a shooting there. Snoop Dogg was there, and had to get him out from the back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were Asians. It was Viets as well.
Yeah. They're crazy,
He
bro.
just ran on the from the front, and they just started shooting at each other. It was crazy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that was a whole different time. You're
was.
talking 2006, 7.
It was.
I would have been about 20, 21, 20. So these guys are 30.
yeah.
They're like in their 50s now, probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's that generation.
Yeah.
Bro, trust me. Yeah.
I grew up in a time where 90s, early 2000s, that's when the Viets were like... out of
Yeah,
control.
they were kicking
Out-
it off.
There was
Like,
actually
they were
like-
known for.
There was a full-on crime squad for...
Yeah. I
I
remember
think it
that
was called
stuff.
Taipan, was it?
No, I can't remember.
That was a crime squad. It was.
But even at
Task Force
Bamboo,
Taipan.
they were still there, but it changed a bit because you'd get some of the older boys and they'd have their young boys around them. So
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
by then they kind of, it wasn't like how Gas and that was. It was crazy back then. Because I heard a lot of
Yeah.
stories and I'm like, fuck.
You know when I was inside and like when an Asian bloke came into the yard, I'd know, like we'd know about it, and sometimes I'd hear stories from the other boys of who this bloke used to be, like stories about him back in the days, and like it'd always be something crazy. It would always be something crazy about someone he stabbed or someone he just went to war and went to hell with. And I always heard stories about like the Viet boys being absolutely ruthless back in the days. Like they were so ruthless that if you were Vietnamese, like there were two families that used to have beef, and you had to pick a side at one point. And apparently, I remember one of the boys telling bro, this one Viet kid came into the yard and he said the wrong family, and they pulled him into the cell and they ripped his ear off.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, you guys have a very
Colourful.
Asians go by like a very strict code when it
Yeah.
comes to shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Asians in general. go by
Yeah,
strict
there's a
code.
code that you guys have, which is look, I like it.
It's a
I actually like it,
yeah.
man. You know what I mean? It's like you guys believe in karma. It's good.
yeah.
It's good to do business with Asians. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Chinese people. You know what? Chinese people have a really good saying. They go, it doesn't matter if the cat is white or black, as long as it brings in the mouse.
Yeah, it's fucking pretty good,
Yeah,
man.
it's a good saying.
That's a
Yeah.
short we're gonna make, bro. That one.
Yeah,
Fuck.
Chinese people, bro. They got good sayings, bro.
Yeah.
They don't care the color, but as long as it
Bro, they're
brings in
very
the mouse.
wise people, bro.
Yeah.
I think Asians in general, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Did you have any run-ins with like other crews, other nashos?
But honestly, that one war that we were meant to have with the Aussies. So I'm just trying to remember, how did that war start? Because when
Probably a racist remark.
no, it wasn't. I can't remember. I can't remember.
Usually, that's what. Yeah, that's what
can't-
they
yeah.
usually.
I can't
They
remember.
just
what
don't learn
happened.
those guys, eh? I don't know.
Yeah, I can't. I think one of the boys put a blade on the other one, and then they were gonna have a crack or something, and then like I remember all the Aussie boys, but there was like 100 of them in, because Oberon's a small jail. There's like probably 120 boys altogether. But we're all split up in about like 10 boys per unit. And I remember this one morning, like they all came up, and there was like maybe like 50 of them all together, and it was just us and the Islander boys. Literally, just us and the Islander boys, and it was about to. I don't know why it didn't break. Like it didn't go like absolutely crazy. Probably because we were all young. But then somehow all the boys got together and sorted it out with a one-on-one. But my mate that went on with a one-on-one, he did not quit, but his face was absolutely busted for ages. Like the guy that he punched on with, like absolutely destroyed him, but he didn't want to fight him anymore because because my mate wouldn't stop.
Wow.
Yeah, like my mate's face was broken in
That's
so many.
that's hard.
Yeah, but he had so
That's
much
hard.
heart. He did not want to quit, and the guy's like, bro, I can't do this anymore. I can't fight this guy anymore. Like, I respect him for the heart, but I can't do this anymore.
Wow, man.
Yeah, but that was the only time we were here. That was the only time I remember.
Crazy.
That's the only time I remember going. Like,
You
we
get
were
people
going
like
to walk.
that.
Yeah, but you know that one time I remember. Oh no, that was another time. There's a lot of times that I've buried.
There's a lot of stories that, like people have done stints, man. Bro, you're a person of faith.
Now I am.
What's your religion?
So I am now a Christian.
Yeah.
So when I was in jail, when I was praying, I was like, whatever God is up there, like I used to pray to God and Buddha.
So like your family, they're Christian?
Nah, I wouldn't say so, but
Because I know there's Viettes that are
Yep.
Christian.
Yep. So when I was younger, my mum used to put me. Do you guys remember in school there used to be this class called Scripture?
Yes.
Yeah, scripture. Yeah.
Yeah. So my parents put me into the Catholic class because I didn't know why at the time, but many years later, I asked Mum, I go, Mum, why the hell did you put me in that class? We're not even Christians or Catholics. Like, why'd you put me in that class for? And then she was like, oh, because they have really good values and I wanted you to understand like the book and all that. And I'm like, oh, okay, fair enough. And then fast forward, like when I was in jail, like when you have nothing, you just pray hoping that divine intervention will save your life. Like maybe I'd go to bed that night and I'd wake up and I'm not in my cell anymore. You know, you just hope that. But fast forward, I realize now that like, because I remember in my prayers, I used to ask God for a couple of things. I used to go, God, please just look after everyone that I love. Make sure they're health and safe always. I pray that you'll make me a better man, and I pray that you give me a light sentence. Obviously, you didn't give me the light sentence, but I got the full 4 years.
Did you get 2 out of 3?
I got 2 out of 3.
Yeah, that's right.
2 out of 3. I got 2 out of 3. But I guess the being a better person was more important to him. And then in hindsight, when I look back, I go, man, if it wasn't for those 2 years, I would not have trained and I would not have become a better person. And then that's when I realized that God was true and God is real. And then I had like clients and people in different circles of mine just kind of reach out to me and it's like, oh, come to church. And I was like, oh, I'll come to church. And then ever since then, I've started going to church more and more. And I feel like there's divine intervention and like God's hand is on my life.
How long has that been now?
I've been going to church for a year and like, you know, like
You feel grounded?
I feel very grounded. So like I've been this type of person where I'm always trying to push forward in my life. Like especially like fitness gave me the foundation to really realize, you know what? If this bloke can do muscle ups, I can do muscle ups. If this bloke can do 100 burpees in 5 minutes, I can do it. Like it gave me that self-belief that if someone could do something, I could do it too. And then I remember during COVID, I remember I was sitting there scrolling and I'm like, man, how are these guys traveling the world on their planes and all of that? Like, how are these millionaires doing it? And then it made me think, you know what? If this guy can be a millionaire, I can be one too. So I made myself a promise. I go, you know what? I'm going to be a millionaire one day. I'm going to get there. I'm going to find a way, but I'll do it legitimately. So I've been pushing for that, like financially ever since then, ever since I made that promise. And then I started struggling and I'm like, bro, maybe I'm not that person that I think I am. And I started struggling. I'm like, bro, I'm not getting to that goal as soon as I'd like because I thought I could do it within a year. Very unrealistic, but like that's just me.
Well, you never know, man.
Yeah, well, like, yeah, I really pushed at that time. And then because I started feeling like I wasn't achieving that goal, the stress really put this. I really felt the stress and I was like, man, maybe I'm not who I say I am. And then I started going to church and it gave me this revelation where, you know what, everything will be done in God's timing. And it lifted all this stress off my shoulders because I realized it's not in my hands anymore. It's in God's hands and he will bless you when he blesses you. You just got to have faith, but you just got to make sure that everything you're doing is for his kingdom.
It's a nice way to put it, man.
Yeah.
And so, like, you're getting more and more into your religion as you're...
I wouldn't say I'm getting...
Or you're keeping, like, a steady...
Yeah, look,
Okay. Yeah. Like,
So I've realized ever since I've gotten more into my spiritual side and my journey with God, I've started meeting and like talking to more people of faith. So like I have a client who's a Catholic. One of my really good mates is a Muslim, and I started realizing like all these things. Like I'm not the type of person to like say one religion is better than the other. I feel like all religions have this place in this world because there's 7 billion people in this world, yeah? And you can't just say there's only one way to speak to God. Maybe there's this religion here, and I'm not saying Catholics are the right religion or anything, but maybe that religion is there to help a certain subsect of people with a certain life experience, with a certain way that their life has fallen out to be. That maybe that's there for them, to help them connect with God. And I feel like every religion is just a language for people to speak to God in.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Very, very good take on it, you know.
Yeah. I've never heard that before.
Yeah. Because I have a friend, yeah, and he's a very strict Muslim, but he's had this certain upbringing that he needs this hard boundaries and hard lines in his life for him to do good. And
Look, Muslims are usually known to be like that. Like we're Muslims, but like I think they're a bit. I won't say hardcore.
Strict, yeah. I feel
Strict, yeah.
Strict.
Like there's a very.
It's black and white.
Yeah, it's black and white.
It's a very black and white.
In
yeah.
Islam, it's black and white.
Yeah.
So
that's why we're pretty much always under the limelight. You know what I mean? If you realise, you know.
But don't get me wrong. Like my mate is like, he teaches me so much about Islam, and like I love him for it too. And I feel like me and him have connected even more because of our faith in God.
But look, me personally, I've read a lot of scripture. I think it's very important to. You don't have to believe in it.
Yeah.
But I think it's very important to learn other scriptures.
Yes.
Like I'll tell you something. Like I'll give you an example. Like I've read Bible, even Old Testament, Jewish scriptures, Hindu.
Yep.
The whole lot. It's just a good way just to know where people are coming from as well.
Yeah,
like I'll tell you something. Like maybe like I'll tell you, I had a friend that was a Hindu, right?
Yep.
So you wouldn't know till you know certain beliefs of them.
Yep.
So I know he doesn't eat beef.
Yep.
Automatically. So I'm not going to be like, I'm going to go and fucking slap a steak in front of him and go, here, bro, enjoy, mate.
You know what I mean? Are you rare? Medium rare?
So, like, automatically you start respecting a person's boundaries.
Yeah. Yep.
So, like, if I know something about Christianity, I'm going to know, okay, like, 1, 2, 3, you know, we're probably not going to go here or talk about that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's good to learn all people's, like, every faith out there, man. You don't have to agree. You don't have to believe in it. But it's important to go through. What do you reckon, bro?
Yeah,
True?
bro. It helps you understand each other better.
And if you ever want to have like a dialogue, because there's people that do have dialogues between faiths,
It'll always be respectful.
It's always going to be better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's what people miss out on. I think
it's important for coexistence for people to understand each other, and in order for that,
Yeah,
you actually
100%,
need
bro.
to be able to see where they're coming from, look at what their belief system is,
that's all about respect. Man.
without judgment. At the end of the day, like there's one judge, and that's God. And at the end of the day, you just leave it to Him.
Yeah,
That's how I see it.
That's the best way. So for me, that's what you got to go by. Like that's respect. Respect people's beliefs. The one thing I'm big on, bro, is respecting people's beliefs, man.
Yeah,
I don't like anyone cursing no one's beliefs. I fucking can't stand that shit.
yeah.
Bro, I reckon in today's age, we are more the same than we are different. Because there's so many people out there that don't even believe in God, but they believe in...
I don't know what they believe in. It's crazy.
Everything but God.
You know, like, bro, like, just put religion aside.
Yeah.
To not believe that, like, to me, I can't believe, like, there's nothing that created this whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, to ask someone that does not believe in it, and you go, bro, can something become from nothing? They're like, yeah. I'm like,
But how?
how are you smart? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So like,
You must be fat. No, I'm joking. No. You must believe in COVID.
Too many fat cells up in that brain.
It's crazy ignorance, man.
But yeah, so people will believe that we had a miracle from nothing, but they won't believe in the miracles of the book.
But okay.
And on a scale, the miracles of the book
makes
are
no
literally
sense.
so small compared to the miracle of everything starting.
Yeah, but there's this they follow the science basically, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at following the science and it's all scientific, and okay, one of the there is a scientific rule. It's a law, scientific law basically. something cannot come from nothing.
Yeah.
Literally.
proves the
It's
law.
like, look,
It's
for
actually the
them,
law.
it's
It's
like,
like, okay,
for them,
so-
0 plus 0 equals 1.
So there's your dead end, and okay, where do you go from here? Like, if you're following the
That's
science,
just the one thing I've never understood.
It makes no sense. Yeah.
Like, even just being agnostic, believing something created it. There's people that are full atheists, I can never understand.
I don't believe people are full atheists. I think they call themselves atheists, but really deep down, they'll tell you, okay, nothing, whatever. And then when you ask them about the scientific,
Yeah.
like I just said,
Oh, like we came from monkeys and shit?
can something come from nothing? They'll tell you, no, it has to come from something. Then obviously there is some sort of belief that it's come from something, but they don't know what it is, so therefore it's nothing.
There's a guy at
You know
work,
what I mean?
like he's full atheist, he believes in evolution and that.
Yeah.
That's something funny. And I go, bro, how could you believe in this shit and then you can't believe someone created everything, you know? I go, how the fuck can you believe in evolution? He goes, I'm fucking looking at one. He goes, you haven't evolved yet. You monkey. You know? I go, yeah. So fuck you fucking... Dirty cunt. Yeah.
Guys, if you're watching, bro,
I'll see him on Monday.
go to church, bro.
He goes, you never evolved, so fuck. What a racist cunt, eh? Nah, it's all right. Bro,
But,
so
yeah.
what do you do now? Like,
Okay.
you know, as soon as you got out,
Yeah.
like, what's your thing that you do now, man?
So, since I've been out, it's been about 5 years. More than 5 years. I got out 2018, it's close to 2025. Yeah.
Do you ever think about, I could never ever go back in no matter what?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Oh, bro. So I try not to relive this moment anymore. Okay. But I'll just say it now and I'll just try not to relive it. Because every time I relive it, I start crying. Yeah. So I'm going to try not to relive it. All right. But you can see it on other podcasts that I've done. The breaking point and the breaking moment for me to wake up to myself and realize and start thinking about ways to not come back to jail was when the first time that my mum visited me in jail. Because like when she came in, like her tears were broken, and I was like, it broke me to see her so upset because I felt like the biggest disappointment. And coming from a Vietnamese family and like the Vietnamese community, like it's like the biggest shame to have your son in jail and your only son too. You only got one kid and you fucked him up. Like that's what it looked like to the Vietnamese.
That's what they
community.
feel.
Yeah.
And then they got to answer to a community, and the community think, what are people going to think? And it's the same with every...
Yeah. And that broke me inside to see my mum so upset the first time she visited me. So that started this roller coaster and snowballing effect of me asking myself the question, but what am I going to do with my life? Like, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep fucking up. Like, what can I do? And then when I got out, like, I kept reliving that moment of my mum crying, and my mum kept saying to me, like, please just don't go back to jail. Like, if you go back to jail one more time, I'm disowning you. And then I realized she wasn't fucking around. And then one of my mates said that to me too. He goes, listen, bro, if you go back to jail one more time, don't expect me to visit. Because I ain't coming, like, bro, it just takes too much out of my time and my life. And like me at the beginning was like, bro, how can you say that? You know, how can you say you're not going to come visit me? But then I realized, like, you know what, he's right. Like, I'm being selfish and my mistakes are going to cost him. So then I was like, all right, well, what do I do? And then I started out in construction because in my last year of jail, I was in construction. I done work release for construction. And then I thought, you know, I'll just stay in construction when I get out because all the tradies on the job site liked me. So they were offering me jobs. And I started out as, what do you call those things? I forgot. It's been so long.
Well, what's the actual job?
It's not a tiler. It's sandstoning, or you put sandstone onto the wall.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Floors as well, paving.
Nah, not floors. We just done them on walls.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like not bricklaying, but you stick at this.
Yeah, the sandstone.
Yeah. So I started out doing that, and then I guess because it was like an hour drive, like an hour train ride to the city, because all the jobs were in the city, and I was still just training and all that, and then something happened. Oh yeah, I brought I don't think my meal had to do something with it, but like I brought my meal to
The muscle chef one?
yeah. Well, I got
Still
back on
frozen in the fridge.
I came back to the house and I got it. I'm like, oh, this will be
They're still here. Yeah, no.
You know, it could have been that because what happened was there was no microwave on the job site, so I just ate it as it was.
That's rough.
Yeah, I just ate it as I was, and then something happened in my stomach, and I thought I had just a stomach ache. Anyways, I had this pain, and I had to go to the hospital, and I find out that it's my appendix, and I had
From the food.
there
No,
was
no,
no
just appendix,
connection.
yeah.
It was just appendix.
It's appendicitis.
Yeah.
But
I thought it's the frozen meal from 4 years ago, bro. Just, you're like, fuck it, it'll do.
I genuinely thought that there was a connection between the two. I was like, bro, that food must have done something to the appendix.
Oh, well.
It had to be. Anyways, my boss was like, bro, look at this guy. One day on the job and he couldn't handle it anymore, and now he's in hospital. Like, come on, man. Anyways, and then like when I was in the hospital bed, I was like, man, I don't even know if I want to come back to this job. And then by a stroke of luck, because my mate was the logistics manager of Audi, the supermarket.
Audi, yeah.
Yep. He was like, bro, come work in the warehouse. Like, why are you busting your ass out on the construction
Is that
site?
the one at Preston's?
Yeah, that's the one. That's
Yeah,
the one.
yeah. They pay good.
Yeah, but it wasn't
I
bad.
heard
man.
they
Yeah,
pay
it wasn't
pretty
bad.
good, man.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't
Shout
bad.
out Audi.
Yeah,
I
shout
just
out
don't like
Audi.
the workers when you gotta catch all your fucking shit when they're just scanning it down the fucking pissed off workers, and you're like, fuck, man. What? Be careful on my muscle chef meals. No, there's nothing
guys,
there.
please look after my frozen meals. But shout out to Audi. But yeah, so I started working at Audi, and I was like, man, this is actually not bad. Like, I'm indoors all day. I'm not in the sun anymore. I'm not busting my ass carrying bricks up the stairs. This is Itwa. Anyway, so like I was enjoying it, and then at that time I was still training relatively like hard. Like I was still doing all like my jail fit workouts, still going to the park training, and my mates were like to me, bro, can you train me, please? And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get qualified as a PT so I can at least say I can take money off you guys without like I felt bad taking money without any qualifications.
Yeah.
So let me go get qualified. So I was studying to be a PT full time as well as working full time. So my shift used to be, so I used to wake up, actually I'll start my shift. My shift was at roughly about 6 o'clock every night, and I'd finish around midnight. But because we were working through like the Christmas holiday period, bro, we were finishing like 3 in the morning, 3, 4 in the morning. And the worst part was, this was what made me leave Audi too. Like you're working in a team and you got KPI targets every single night. How much boxes you guys need to pick. And because half of my team were oldies who just wanted the overtime, bro, they would just drag their feet.
Were you in like a cold storage section?
Yeah, I was in the cold section.
Were you in the frozen section?
Yeah, I did the frozen and the cold.
Okay.
That was me, bro. And but I would bust my
You know, I
ass.
worked there for a day.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I got fired.
How'd you get fired?
Because you know how you've got, this is probably like 2013, 14.
Okay, yeah.
Before it was a labour hire company.
Yeah, no, they still got it.
Oh, okay. So my mate's wife got me in
Yep.
without labour hire.
Okay.
She goes, don't fuck it up for me.
Yeah.
So I went in there. He's probably gone by now.
Yeah.
The guy that was there, some supervisor, he was like a G.I. Joe.
Okay.
So when I went there the first time, I go, bro, this guy's killing my life. Like the first day, he started hammering me. And I'm in the frozen, on the pick, pack and forklifts.
Yeah, yeah.
And you go in, you got to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
careful because you slide off.
Yeah.
It goes like that. It's like a U.
Yeah.
The next day, I'm just looking because you got to wear the vest.
Yeah.
I go, man, should I fucking do this job? This guy's gonna, like, I want to hit him.
I don't want to hear his voice anymore. He done your head.
And bro, I've got the vest in my hand,
Yeah.
like this. And he goes, mate, the items ain't gonna be picked themselves. He didn't swear. He goes, mate, the items aren't gonna be picked themselves.
This has been a
I
smart
go, how about you fucking pick it? And I threw it at him. He goes, you're fired. I go, no shit. I fucking, and then I got walked out. Then my mate's wife called me. That's the one at Preston.
Oh, yeah.
But that was about 2013.
What'd you
One
say
day,
to you?
nothing. She goes, are you serious? I vouch for you. It was no labour hire company and you fucked me. I go, it's a fuckwit. She goes, you're a fucking idiot.
He's probably still there, to be honest, bro. To be honest, he's probably still there.
He's saying that from experience.
Yeah, okay, he's probably still there, bro. He's probably still there, but fuck him anyway, man. It's not how you treat your workers, bro.
You reckon it's the same guy? Was there a G.I. Joe there that was...
Oh, he's probably calmed down when I got there.
Okay, no, it's probably someone else in for sure because this bloke was.
But if you're watching, cuz, fuck you. Treat your workers better, man. Maybe they'll stay.
Sorry, bro. Back to Audi.
Yeah, but yeah, Audi.
I had to say that story, bro.
But
Straight
yeah,
out.
but yeah, Audi. But anyway, speaking of the oldies, so I was working like the oldies would want to do overtime and they just want to make more money for the week to do overtime, which is fair enough. But I'm in there busting my ass. Like I'm trying to pick as many boxes as I can so I can get home, go to the gym because I was going to the gym at 1 a.m., go train and then get into bed, try to have as much sleep as I could because then I'd have to get up at 7, go out to para, get to class by 9, and then go 9 to 4. As soon as I finish at 4 with class, go straight back to work at 6. So I was literally work, gym,
Bit of sleep.
a bit of sleep. Yeah, and it was continuous. And then
How long did you do that for?
4 months. Done it for 4 months. And
Good on you, bro.
bro, I was falling asleep. So this is what burnt me the most because I was starting to fall asleep in class and I was hating myself for it because I actually wanted to learn. I actually wanted to learn like how the body worked, the muscle contraction, exercises, and the practical stuff too. And I kept falling asleep. And I remember my teacher going, Andrew, go for a walk because you're starting to fall asleep. And that's how he'd get me like to wake up. It was just like start getting my body moving. And then I realized, bro, I really don't want to be at Audi anymore. I hate working in a team and I hate relying on other people. I go, you know what? I'd rather just be a PT. And then, but I didn't leave yet. I was like, you know what? I'll leave when my new business as a PT picks up. And then when I started making the same amount of money as a coach as to working at Audi, I was like, all right, sack that. See you later. I'm out.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then
Of course. So you don't hurt your pocket.
Yeah, and then I was out and then I focused entirely on the coaching business. And it was probably the best blessing ever because I still love training. And every time I finished with a client or finished classes, I was still in the gym. I could just start my training straight away. I'm already here. Boom. All right, get out the pre-workout. Boom, train.
How's that going now with you, with the PT and all that stuff?
It's really good. I am stopping new clients from coming in as face-to-face. I'm trying to only scale my online coaching.
Okay,
Yeah, so I'm trying to like, because face-to-face clients, I'm capped at a certain amount of hours that I
So
can
you got to
do.
be controversial then. Just like there's that Pakistani guy. What's the guy? You know, the bald guy? Have you seen him? He's pretty good.
Which one?
The bald bloke. He's brown, good body. Have you seen it? I haven't got my phone on me, man. He's always saying, you fucking fat fuck.
Oh, yeah.
He
looks a bit like you, bro.
Kind of, but he's a bit, he looks a lot better than me.
Which
bro.
one, bro? What's his name?
He's jacked as well.
Yeah.
Don't know his thing, but he does.
He's on Insta. He's on
Insta, bro. He's big. He's very controversial.
Sydney?
Goes, he's in Sydney, yeah. And it'll be like, listen here, you fat fucks.
Strong life.
Nah. Big Chocky.
I don't know his name.
He's bald.
Big Chocky. Nah.
with the goatee.
Nah, Big Chocky's got
You know
hair.
what I'm talking
I know which
about.
ones, yeah,
Tall
yeah,
bloke,
yeah.
man. Yeah, he's very good, but he's very controversial. And he just talks about he gets the results done and
It's strong.
Get up off-
strong
yeah.
life,
Oh,
strong life.
wait a minute.
get up off your ass, you lazy fucks, and he does shit like that.
Physique Factory?
That's it.
That's
Physique
it.
factory.
Yeah.
That's it.
He does very good for himself,
he
man.
does good, bro. He
And
does
he's not
good.
cheap.
I know, bro. I know. So, like, that's another thing. Like, when I analyze all these other coaches' businesses, I'm like, man, they can do it. I can do it. They can do it. I can do it. And that's why sometimes I just speak my mind without thinking about the consequences too much. But, like, if it comes to me, it comes to me.
Because you got to be catchy, bro.
Yeah, you got to. You got to. That's what really helped me with getting on camera too. So anyone that's watching this right now and you feeling like you are scared to go on camera because you're scared of judgment, you're scared of what people would say about you, you're scared about what people might think. But this is coming from me who did 4 years of jail. I got crooked teeth and a crooked jaw, and I was so scared of getting on camera because I was worried about the negative comments of people making fun of me. But if I was able to overcome that, you can get on camera and talk on camera.
My man. I'll give you a fist pump for that, bro.
Well done, bro.
It's all right, bro.
When I started my fitness journey, I was like, if I'm gonna scale this and grow this, I need to get comfortable talking on camera. And that was like the hardest thing for me because I remember my first video, I had like my camera set up, I had notes here, and you could see my eyes going, oh yeah, and so if you do back and chest together, blah blah blah. Yeah, you could see like, it wasn't the best video. And
You
I
just
feel-
got to be
yeah,
more like
yeah.
natural, like pretend like it's
Yeah.
not there. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah, and then like, but having said that, the more videos I did, the better I got.
Yeah.
Because I ended up picking up a couple videos on how to speak better. So I started watching videos. All right, how do I improve my speech pattern? How do I improve my articulation? And I signed up for dictionary.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I started just practicing whatever
Yeah, bro.
word of the day. Word of the day. Yeah, they gave me word of the day, and I was just like, all right, how am I going to use the word ambivalent today?
You know, I'll tell you something, bro. You know what's see me? I like listening to everything.
Yep.
So, like, especially when I'm driving,
Yep.
I listen to fucking the weirdest shit sometimes, like all podcasts, right?
Yep.
But I'll hear all conversations, like political, could be like relationships,
Yep.
that male shit that's got like a red pill, blue pill community,
Yep.
something to do with fucking business. So you see, listening to how other people speak, you gain a lot of knowledge and you pick up how different type of people speak.
Yeah.
So you actually pick up how you could talk to anyone that
Yep.
might be PT,
Yep.
business,
Yep.
someone that's fucking some relationship Romeo advice cunt,
Yep.
fucking
Yeah. So learning,
some
knowing,
fat person,
knowing
fucking
your
anyone.
avatar.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not,
Yeah.
Knowing
Like
your
that's
avatar.
how, like me, I've never read in my life. I'm not saying I'm the best fucking speaker,
Yeah.
but when you start like listening to a lot of stuff, especially with conversations, you pick up a lot of how you could have convos with others.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It broadens your knowledge and your
It broad-
vocabulary as well.
And it broadens your knowledge, yeah, because you start hearing it and then you're going to say, oh, okay, yeah. Because
Yeah.
in school, I was shit.
Bro, same.
Yeah.
No
Like,
one
I've
teaches
learned
us
everything
this.
after school.
Yeah.
I was fucking hopeless, man.
They don't even have like that. I don't, do they have debating classes? All they did was make us do a public speech once or twice a year.
I didn't even do that. I'll
But
skip
they-
it.
But they didn't teach us how to do it. They
Those
didn't- yeah.
remember the card shit?
Yeah,
I have the
yeah.
card.
The palm cards, yeah.
Fucking palm cards, bro. Any fucking,
But you know what?
fucking.
Now I realize how important it is to be able to speak, because what's life? Life is literally just people in a room speaking.
Yeah,
what's,
100%.
what's politics?
Yeah.
People in a room speaking. What's sales? One person speaking to another.
Bro, you'd be surprised how far you can get by just speaking to someone.
Yeah, exactly.
Your qualifications can go out the door. It's the way you just present yourself and speak, man.
That's right.
It can get you
Yeah.
very far.
What's an interview? What's a job interview? People speaking.
exactly.
First
Yeah.
impressions are not about what you look like. It's the first thing that comes out of your mouth.
You know, if you could, like this is how I look at it. If you can make someone laugh,
Yeah.
you can get into them pretty
Yeah.
quickly, man.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can.
That goes for women as well.
Humor.
You know what I mean? But I'm saying for like even like a business deal or whatever.
Yeah.
If you could make that person across the table laugh or be comfortable with you and he's mucking around,
Yeah.
you're pretty much
Sold it. You sold it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why the best salesmen are the ones that you see their personalities.
Mm.
They're all kind of funny and they have that
Charisma.
thing about them. Yeah, that charisma
It's
about them.
charisma, yeah.
How'd you learn how to speak?
Just talking to people.
SG is,
just
you know,
my-
he's on
my-
the pod. He's like the wise one in the
Yeah.
group. You know
just,
what I mean?
just my work life, bro.
Yeah.
Like it was definitely after school.
Yeah.
Definitely after school.
I think growing up as well in a certain environment, you'll know this. You know what I mean? Like when you grow up in like a hood type area, and obviously when your upbringing is not the best,
Yeah.
you know, if you haven't got a silver spoon fed in your mouth,
Yeah.
and you've brought up like full poor,
Yeah.
because like we came from like poor,
Yeah.
like fucking
Yeah,
Macca's.
Any
Macca's
immigrant
for
family,
us,
bro.
like once
Yeah.
a
It was a treat.
fortnight was like,
It was a mad
Yeah.
treat.
bro,
Yeah.
it's all going to six head now, like tomahawk steaks and shit. Like, and that was only getting a junior burger. You know
Happy
what I
meal.
mean?
Happy meal.
Yeah, like it'd be like, fuck, this is the life.
That's immigrant upbringing.
You know, like you could meet a lot of people, man, when you grow up like that, man. Like that's why, like a lot of people when they say with kids,
Yep.
send your kids to private and yeah, okay, maybe, but I'll always say send them to public.
Yeah.
You know why? Because that's kind of the reality. You're gonna meet
Yeah.
kids
Real
that are
life
going to
people.
swear.
Yeah.
You're going to meet people that might be a bit rich,
Yeah.
poor, hood, fucked up, like a kid with fucked up parents. That's what you're going to meet when you go into the real world.
100%.
circle.
And
You're not going to meet a bunch of fucking
Rich
Bro,
kids.
do you know the most
Rich kids.
The most impressionable people are people that were kind of isolated from that multicultural kind of back like mentality.
Yeah.
So when you go to a private school, everyone's the same. It's all uniform. It's all, you know what I mean?
90%
Clockwork,
white.
right?
Yeah, look, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it. No, I'm not saying that.
But I'm just
all
saying,
I'm saying is
a shit school,
when
you can learn a lot.
when you come out of that and then you see what's out there in the real world, right? You're more easily impressionable. People that go to private schools are more likely to be coerced into something.
You know the lingo. I can have a conversation with you.
yeah,
First time I met you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've told me about your thing where you've grown up. You know what I mean? I could relate to you.
The bunga.
I haven't been jail,
Yeah.
but I can speak to you. We can have a laugh. I had a conversation with you on the phone. We're having a laugh.
Yeah.
You could relate very quickly to people, especially when you know, like, because a lot of people, you know, they go through similar paths in life. So you automatically connect. Usually, this is my opinion, private school people are like privileged fucks.
Unfortunately, it is true.
Not always, but most of the times they're weirdos.
I know what you're saying.
Like, I went to Canterbury Boys. At that time, we didn't even have a fence at the back. It was shit.
Yeah.
Down the road, Trinity Grammar, 50 grand a year,
Yeah.
60 grand a year. Like, it's the works in that. Fucking with their little shorts and the gay little fucking ties and that. Elite.
Yeah.
They're the elite. They've probably got $1 million jobs now. But you're just not going to learn those lessons that you will in like a shitty school.
No, you're not.
Yeah. You know, when you're in private school, you're never gonna really learn when someone checks you.
Yes.
You're never gonna learn that in like the real life of someone checking you, because you're living in a life that has controlled violence. So that you're never really gonna come across violence
Exactly.
that often. But the real world is literally violence.
Yeah, it's not a pretty
Violence,
world.
yeah, it's around the corner at any given time.
Exactly.
Like, I remember one of the times that I got checked. So my mate that I used to run for, he gave me an ounce and I sold it and I bought a car with it. I didn't pay him back. And he checked me. The first thing, like, he found out what I did. I wasn't hiding from him, but he found out through like my other mate. And he came to pay me a visit. And as he saw me, he just came up to me, thunk, Superman punch. And then he was pumping me, and then my mate pulled him off me. But I learnt a very valuable lesson after. Oh, but don't spend the money.
But I like your honesty, bro.
Yeah,
You're fucking straight up, bro.
but
You know, a lot of people aren't like that now, man. It's a shame. Everyone wants to be Superman, but they won't tell the story about being Superman punch.
Yeah.
Oh, bro,
You know what I mean?
That's
Like, everyone wants to be I'm the best guy, and like,
Yeah.
you can't be like that, bro.
This reminds me of another story. So this guy's a nice guy now. Like, me and him have spoken ever since. So in my last year of jail, so my first 2 years of jail, I did jack shit. My third year of jail at Oberon, I was training super hard. I got ripped, I got built. And then my fourth year of jail, I came back to Sydney to Silverwater to do the work release program. And when you come back into minimum security C3 to the work release program, you mix in with, you got to sign this NAE form that says you will not bash any pedophiles, rapists, etc. Because that's how they mix protection inmates back into the main population.
Through minimum security.
Yeah. At the end of minimum security. So if you want to go out and have weekend leaves and day leaves and go work out in public and make real money, and so you can send home to your family, you have to promise that you're not going to bash any of these people when you find out that they are rapists, etc. Okay? Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Hold on.
I'm not saying nothing, but yeah.
I'm getting there, yeah? So I'm like, bro, I can't believe I got to hang out with all these fucking pedos and gronks. Like, this is chat. What's the point of going back? Is it even worth it? And then I thought about my mum. My mum's like, I need money. I'm like, all right, mum, look, you know what? I'm going back to Sydney. I'm going to work in construction 6 days a week, 10 hours on the job. Every single dollar I had, I sent it to her. And when I came back, but I told myself, you know what? I'm just going to keep to myself and not talk to anyone. The only boys that I'm going to talk to are the ones that I know from Oberon and the ones that they say are all good. And everyone else, I'm just going to like be snobbish. So I come back, I'm in Sydney, I'm in Silverwater, and I don't want to make any friends. I stick to myself, I train by myself, don't talk to anyone. People are trying to be nice and say hello, how you going, bro? And they're just trying to be like nice. But I'm not trying to make friends. I only got 1 year left. I don't need to make friends with someone and realize that they're a dog, they're a pedo, they're a rapist. And then you have to go through this process of going, sorry, bro, we're not mates anymore, cuz I didn't realize you were a fucking pedo. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't want to have to go through that, yeah? So I just didn't, I was quite rude to people. I was pretty rude. And then there was this one guy, he was big bloke. His name is Josh. Me and him are mates now, so we're all good. I ran into
Shout out to Josh.
Shout out to Josh. Shout out to Josh. Anyways, I heard bad things about him, and like I didn't have any proof, but so I was like, you know, I don't want to. Like, I'm just gonna keep being rude to him. And there was one time when I was training in the main unit, and I had my radio on full blast, like in the middle of the wing, and he went to turn it off when I went to the toilet, and then I came out and I turned it back on, and then he turned it off again, and then me and him had some words, and he's like, well, you know what? You want to go sort it out? Let's go to the kitchen. Mind you, this bloke's like almost 2 meters tall at the time. Like he's like 113 kilos.
Wow,
he's pretty
big
big. Yeah, he's a big boy. Okay, and he's had MMA training. But me, high on my horse, ego driven, because I got built and I got ripped, and I just knew I was the fittest bloke there. But little did I know, the knowledge that I know now, that combat training has a massive difference in a fight.
Massive.
If you know how to fight, you know how to fight. I didn't realize that until I got out. And then I started doing boxing and I started doing Muay Thai. Like now I know.
It's very different.
Yeah, it's very different. Anyways, I thought I could take this bloke because of how fit and strong and how hard I trained. I was like, bro, yeah, let's go. We went into the kitchen, but I did not land a single punch on this bloke. He hit me with open palm right in my ear. He didn't knock me out.
Did you have that?
A whole week, bro. A whole week I did not hear in that ear.
It was ringing.
Bro, my ear was ringing. And you know what the worst part, bro? I was sitting in my cell going, fuck.
Yeah, your ego was hurt.
Bro, my ego was so hurt.
Bruised ego.
Yeah, I was like, bro, what the fuck? Anyways, I still kept training, but I was like, I can't believe that happened. Like, I can't believe I lost that fight. And I didn't even land a single punch, too.
Yeah, that sucks.
It's like heartbreaking.
Yeah, and I was just like, am I even, like, what's the point of this training? Like, what the fuck? I can't believe I lost to this, so we have a term, a boneyarder. So in my head, I'm like, I can't believe. I don't know if Josh is a boneyarder, so don't go out.
I understand.
Don't message him saying he's a.
It was just at the moment. It was just
in that moment. In that moment, I didn't know, and I was like, I can't believe I lost to this boneyarder. And then I was just hurt. I was just hurt for ages. I was so hurt for ages. Like that weekend that I had weekend leave, I remember sitting on the couch and I was trying to play games and I couldn't even focus on FIFA. I was just like, wow, what have I done? Yeah, and then like that. But in hindsight, that was also something that pushed me into learning Muay Thai and boxing.
It's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah,
because if you look at fighters, they don't have egos. The ones that have egos, usually lose.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
What, like, respect to Josh too, because he could have bashed me like senseless, but he stopped after those two hits.
Yeah, because fighters, or when you train, you know that you can fuck someone up.
Yeah.
So you're not going to really go all out unless he's a fighter.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Like you probably know that because you've done some training.
Yeah. So
it drops, which is good. But that's something that worked out for you.
In hindsight, like, I'm so thankful that happened, but at that moment, it was
it was
the most heartbreaking.
That's fucked.
Devastating.
Yeah, no one likes to lose, bro.
Yeah.
Especially like, it's the worst feeling.
Like a man's pride is when it breaks and it hurts. Oh, bro.
It's ugly. But it depends, man. Me personally, man, pride shouldn't. You should take pride in work, but I think pride for yourself, I think should be limited, man.
Yeah, well, I 100% agree.
But
like, in that moment.
But in that moment, bro, everyone's gone through that. I think for a man, staying composed, bro, is a superpower. I always say it. But staying composed is a power because you can get under people's skin.
Yeah.
And if you can stay calm and not be butthurt with anything, bro, you can.
That's me now. That's me now. When I talk to people, and you know when people get offended, okay, so like let's say I'm scrolling on TikTok or Instagram, and I see a video that should offend me. I don't know. I don't see anything that offends me now, but let's just say there was a video that was specifically profiling the type of person that I am.
Yeah.
Okay? And then I'm just like, Like, it doesn't affect me.
No,
It doesn't affect me.
100%,
Yeah.
exactly.
But most people, they have this.
They have to comment.
Yeah, they have to comment.
Yeah, they
That's
have to
it,
comment.
That's it. They have to
Yeah,
put
yeah.
their 2 cents in.
Oh, you fucking didn't.
That's why they have a like, dislike, and a comment, man.
Oh,
Because
bro.
they know people can't help themselves. And it's the
Yeah.
best to have a conversation with these type of people. You know, Australia's the most weakest minded people, man.
They are. You know, I was going to make a video, but then, like, this is how I know I don't get affected as much as I used to. So, someone that I know, I'm not going to mention any names, but I was just going through stories and she put up a story. And the story was someone making a reel or a TikTok. And it was like, the meme of the reel was, if you think you're having a bad day, just imagine there's some guy out there watching a 30-minute YouTube video on how to be an alpha male.
That's so true.
but yeah, hang on a second. And then I was like, is this a laugh at me? Because I've done this before. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Back off.
Yeah, hear me out, yeah? Like, because, like, I've watched a lot of Andrew Tate videos, yeah? And like,
Everyone has.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of Andrew Tate videos, and I thought, like, that was the jab at that. But in hindsight, it's like, but if you want something that you don't have in your life or something that you want to get better at, you have to seek out the knowledge, even if it's a 30-minute video. So I was like, but then I was going to make a reply video, but then I was like, it doesn't really bother me that much, whatever. So yeah, I let it go.
You know what?
Watching that 30-minute alpha video worked then.
Bro, look,
You learned something. You learned
Stoic,
something.
yeah, stoic.
bro, look, I'll tell you something. We've been planning for a while to go out in the public.
Yeah,
I don't know when it's going to happen because we need time.
yeah,
And to be honest with you, we're going to need a bit of like, oh, let's go out there and ask these questions because we're going to ask some questions, but we're going to, usually we're just having this conversation before the pod.
yeah,
I like to bait them as well.
yeah,
I trap them with questions
yeah.
and use their answer against them and ask them a question. So then they're like, oh,
Yeah.
you know what I
It's a
mean?
loaded question.
So it's like a kind of a loaded question, but whatever answer they use, I use their answer against them.
So you're telling me, blah,
yeah,
blah, blah.
you know what I mean? I think you should come with us, man.
I'll come, bro. I'll come. Let me know. Let
know
me
what I
know.
mean?
That would be awesome, actually.
I think if there's a group of boys that are the same,
Yeah.
and you want to do like a reply, like back to some fucking person making videos like that, yeah, bro, 100%. You know what I mean? Like to that, I'd be like, there's someone out there watching a video, being bothered to go in the comments and complaining like a Karen,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because there's nothing worse than a male Karen.
Oh, bro.
Women, it's fine. You know, like to be
Girls
honest
will
with
be
you,
girls, yeah.
women
Girls will be
complain, they're
girls, yeah.
emotional, it's fine. But
Is
when
that
when a male does it,
Yeah.
oh, bro, it's like just
What are they called? What are they called?
Gary.
Gary. Okay.
I've never heard of that one, bro.
It's a Gary. Like, you know the
Unlucky Gaz.
you like the traffic controller, like bro, like today I'm on one of the sites here,
Yeah.
and I was driving, so I was doing a delivery there, and I've parked. You know how you just cut the driveway a bit.
Yep.
So I had the council guy come in, full GI Joe spec,
Yeah.
lazy individual.
Yeah.
As you could, I'm trying to tell you his body
Yeah,
type.
Yeah.
Comes out, did not stop eyeing me out, telling me to do a lap, get out of here. Who do you think you're like full on? Like I'm thinking in my head, I'm thinking, fuck, you know how when you have that flashback where like, is it from True Lies? Where Arnold Schwarzenegger's driving the car and then he smacks him one?
Yeah, he bashed-
Same
just knocks him
thing.
out,
I'm just
kills
like,
him.
no problem, mate. I'll go for a drive. Full looking at me, I'm in the car and he's like going,
Yeah.
like I feel like just at that moment, I'm like, that's a Gary. Full Gary.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe. I wasn't affecting no one, but
Yeah.
just for some reason,
He just had the power trip.
And by the way, guys, if you haven't figured it out, he is a delivery driver.
Yeah.
Uber driver. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Slash, I'm a slash.
Delivery driver.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. Bro, point is, male Karens, there's nothing in this world worse than a male Karen.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
I could stay composed on everything,
Yeah.
but it's very hard for me to control on a male Karen, especially when they're having their moment. Like, I got to walk away. That's the only thing that'll get to me. A male Karen. I have no respect for guys like that. Be a man.
Yeah. Bim. Like, oh, bro.
And this is why I say, like, a lot of men have lost that, man.
Yeah.
No accountability. Look, you're telling us stories that a lot of guys will never talk about. And there's nothing wrong with those stories.
Yeah.
You had a crack with this guy in the kitchen and this and that, and you learnt from this. That's accountability. You don't see it now.
Yeah, people
You see a
can't
bunch
take
of people playing the victim card.
Oh, bro, people can't take the L's. So there's one thing that I learned recently. You know, this talk of trauma and dealing with your trauma. There's two types of people. I personally believe that you can deal with your trauma. You can uncover your trauma if you're genuinely going to deal with it and move past it. Like you're going to be better from it. But then there's other people who bring up their trauma and they just keep reliving it.
Yeah.
Like
they just keep reliving. Like that's their identity. Like I'm a victim.
But here's
Sometimes
the
I play the victim card.
No, but you using your trauma and turning it into a positive is how you get through your trauma. You look at it and say, okay, I did go through this, but it fucking happened for a reason. I wouldn't be the person I am today if that didn't happen to me.
Men usually do that.
You know what I mean? Andrew just spent his whole intro right now talking about that, saying, you know what I mean? If that didn't happen, it was a blessing in disguise. I wouldn't be where I am today. You know what I mean?
Toughest people are the ones that have been through shit.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
But got through it.
Yeah, of course.
Not relive it.
No.
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
Reliving it, honestly, and throwing it into people's faces, I believe is just victim
It's
mentality.
victim mentality, 100% it is.
This whole thing about mental health, yeah, okay, there's mental health, but the way it's done now, I don't believe in that.
No,
Like
100%.
everything's mental health.
Yeah.
Like the people that are really going through it,
Yeah.
Don't talk about it.
like don't talk about it.
No, they don't.
Yeah, so one person asked me on my Instagram story. So I put up ask me any question the other day, and someone was like to me, Andrew, how do you deal with your mental health? And I go, listen, man, I'll tell you how I do my deal with my mental health. I don't deal with it. I'm a ticking time bomb, but I'm too busy to think about it. I got shit to do. I give 5 hours a day of my life to bodybuilding, and then I try to box in between. And then I got clients in and out. So I'm training, client, write programs, record content. Then I got my girlfriend busting my balls. Then I got bills to pay. Where in my schedule do I have time to think about my mental health? Point of the story, stay busy.
But that's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we're guys,
Yeah.
and no one's gonna give a fuck about the guys. That's the truth. We
100%.
we care about women, but for men, that's just our. You know, like
Yeah.
I always say this. There's some luxuries that women have that men don't.
Yeah.
And there's some luxuries that men have that women don't. Like, I'll give you an example. Hoe and hoe maker. You know what I mean?
Pissing standing up,
Yeah, that's it.
you'll never experience that.
So we can sit down and stand up. But one thing that we don't have as a luxury is to complain. That's why I believe the problems that we have now with men fucking like being how they are is because they're lashing out these emotions, and bro, we don't have time for that. Stay busy, go work out. You got your responsibilities, whether it's your wife, kids, mum, girlfriend, bills. That's a man's life.
There's things to be done. You don't have time to complain.
You don't have time to be like, the world doesn't like me, and the world doesn't like no one, and the time doesn't fucking like no one. Just fucking shut up and get on with it.
Yeah.
Why
the
is
world, bro.
it?
That's the reality.
Why is it? Let's say our like parents or whatever, they've come from overseas. If anyone should have mental health problems, it should be these people because they've come from like
War. Yep.
They've come from a shitty life. They've come from a poor country, third world country. It sucks.
That's trauma.
That's trauma.
Yeah.
And they come here and they do like 7 days a week. They're staying busy. They've got a family to look after, looking after their kid, husband, wife, whatever, all their parents, and they're sending money back. And it's a lot of pressure, man. You put the same pressure in this generation,
Broken
later.
people.
there's going to be a lot of those I was broken once, hashtag, those fucking, I hate that shit. You know, when you go on Facebook or Instagram, there's someone like, no one's going to outdo me. I've been burnt before, but you won't burn me again. Hashtag, I'm too strong. Man, shut the fuck up. And have you seen that shit? I'm like, who the fuck has the time to write these?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean, bro?
Just get out there and fucking get it done.
There's motivation, and then there's a victim mentality.
Yeah.
People keep saying how they've been burned, and they've been burned, and no one's gonna stop them because they've been burnt, and they're fucking like they become rappers. And you know what's even crazier? It's people in our generation as well. Like by this time, you should be stable.
Yeah.
Especially, no offense, women.
Yep.
You got these 40-year-old women, okay, that are just absolute disasters. Got like some Chris Brown song in the back with some fucking poem or some shit with a hashtag, I'm strong and independent. That's where the world's going, man.
Middle-aged women.
What do you got to say? Because we're going to be wrapping up, but there's a couple of things.
Yeah.
Before we get to that,
Yeah, all right.
you said something about youth work. Oh, it's very important.
Yep.
I want to bring this up with you, bro.
Okay.
Because this is very, very good, bro.
Yep.
You say you do like talks or something to the youth.
Yes. So with the Confit program, we run a 8-week mentoring program. So it's basically fitness based. So we come in, talk to the boys for a bit, have a laugh, and then we start training. So we teach them like all the jail workouts that we did in jail.
Yeah.
And that's like building rapport with them, training with them, letting them know that like you guys can be like us one day if you just do this training. You just got to get through this training. I know it's hard. I know the burpees are hard. I know the push-ups are hard.
Yeah.
But every week, if you just stick it out, you'll get stronger. You'll get fitter. You'll feel your body change. And after the training, we do a little talking session with them. And each week we just talk about different things. So like the first week we talk about gratitude, why it's important to be grateful. And I tell them a story of like when I was in jail, I seen 2 boys come back on the truck and both of them got 4 years. The first bloke came back and he was like, fuck this, my co is a dog. The judge is a piece of shit. Everyone's a gronk. And he goes into his cell and he smashes his kettle and he just flips it upside down. And the second bloke, he comes back and he's like, you know what? Life ain't too bad, bro. I'm going to go train because my daughter's got food on the table. My parents are healthy. Everything's all good. Everything's eatwa. And I tell the boys, who do you think got further in their 4 years of jail, even though both of them had the same result in the same situation? And they go, well, the second bloke. And I go, why? And they're like, I don't know, positive mind. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. His mind was positive because he was able to find the things, the small things that he still had, and he didn't think about the 4 years that he lost. It's about being grateful for what you do have now and finding the great gratitude. And it's not easy to be grateful because you can't just wake up and be grateful. You have to actively think these things. Like you have to actually sit there and go, what am I grateful for today? You don't just wake up and you're like, oh, I'm grateful for food. I'm grateful for mom. I'm grateful for family. It doesn't work like that. You just have to actively put time aside and write these things down or say it out loud. And I kept trying, like, that's week 1, trying to get the boys to be more grateful and find things that they're grateful for and actually say why they're grateful for it. Because a lot of them say, oh, I'm grateful for family, I'm grateful for phone calls. But do you even know why you're grateful for family or phone calls? Like, but you know, in jail, we pay like, I don't know, $3-4 per phone call. You guys get free phone calls. Yeah, like just trying to get them to understand
Stuff like
why.
that. That's
Yeah.
actually very good, man.
Yeah, so like, yeah, week 1's gratitude. Week 2's goal setting. So just talk to them about, like, I got heaps of stories, man. I wish I had time to tell you guys all
Bro,
the
you
stories.
can come back and tell us stories, bro. Are you going to come back, right?
Yeah, I'll come back. I'll come back.
that's
I'll come
sweet,
back.
man.
So yeah, I tell them goal settings. I always tell them like my jail stories for each life lesson.
Yeah.
So you gratitude about the boys in the 4 years, and we got goal setting. So I talk to them about like just setting goals, small goals to get to your big goals. Being grounded. That's this thing that we have called the G code, and like we teach them, well, but you got your street code. You know, you don't snitch on your boys, blah blah blah. But there's this thing called the G code that you should live by. And I promise you, if you live by this also, it's going to take your life into a more positive place, and it's something you can carry on with the rest of your life. So that's gratitude, goal setting, and being grounded. So just finding like what values ground you, whether it's God, family, ambitions, training, whatever it is. And week 4, I believe, is self-belief and self-worth. And then week 5 is about self-awareness. So like just understanding, you know, triggers, what triggers you, what strengthens you. So stuff like being around boys that training all the time, all those things. And we've recently made changes to the program. I'm not sure if we kind of still do it. Like we talk to them about it, like the value of education and employment. Because a lot of them just don't really, they think they're not good enough for education and employment. They're like, school, you know, like they don't even bother going to school, some of them. But we're like, bro, trust me, this is the only place in the world where you go to class and you're around people that are like you. You want to go to school in the real world, bro, you're going to feel like the biggest outcast. Like, trust me, you want to do school in here, and it's something that they provide for you for free. So we talk to them about like the value of education and employment, and how the kid at Macca's is probably winning at life because he's getting paid while you're locked up in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we just kind of like do a recap, and then there's graduation, and like that's
fucking good, man.
That's pretty good. That's a mad
But
program,
there's
bro.
there's got to be more guys like that they have to speak up, man. I think a lot of the problems are not enough male role models, man, especially for boys.
Yeah, well, I think like what I've been noticing on Instagram lately is there has been a lot of more male groups of boys training at the park doing the chin dip push workout, and I'm all for that. I love seeing the boys do that, and I love seeing, because going back all the way to the beginning, my advice for people if they want to get fit is go train in a group, because you can't not train when you're there with them. Most people are going to struggle training in the gym by themselves. Most people are going to die doing things by themselves. But if you're in that environment and you're always training, eventually, if you're training consistently, you're eventually going to start changing your diet, because you're like, you know what, I'm training 5 days a week for the last 6 months. I need my body to start looking better. What do I do? Do I start eating more? And then eventually that overlays into other areas of your life. So I'm a really big fan of all these groups popping up in the area, where different areas where they're training at the park, because that's what they need. That's what these kids need. Like groups of men training.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's a good way to put it. Even just talking, anything but by men.
Yeah, it has
Very
to be
important,
by men.
man.
It has to be by men. So we used to have females on the program who come in and like they're part of the team. But then I was like, man, these are teenage boys, man. They're fucking going back into their cell, going. You know what I mean?
Motivation.
You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean, man? Like, they're teenage boys, bro. Bro. I remember when I was a teenage boy and looking at my teacher.
And like, no disrespect, but like teenage boys need men.
Yeah.
Like what's the woman gonna? You know what I mean? Like there's always gonna be like a man is always gonna set it straight differently to how a woman's gonna do
Bro,
it.
even when we're at school, when you want to give a teacher hell, the female teachers copped hell.
Oh, they copped a big
Then
time.
you had your strict fucking male teacher, bro, that would fuck you up if you fucked around.
Yeah,
And
that one teacher that was half serial killer.
You still want a reaction out of him, but you wouldn't be as bad as you are in the other class.
No.
You don't push
you
the
weren't.
buttons too much.
You know?
Yeah, but like that's another thing. So I speak to a lot of teachers because they know the work that I do, because sometimes when they have misbehaving kids, they end up in juvie and they're like, oh, Andrew, make sure you look out for blah, blah, blah. And I tell them, like, sometimes they ask me, especially when I meet new teachers, they go, Andrew, what do you do? What do you talk about, blah, blah, blah? And I tell them. And then they go, that's what I've been trying to tell them. And I go, listen, no offense.
You're a nerd.
No offense.
Can't say nothing.
No offense. But I know I'm selling the same product. It's just a different shop front. Unfortunately, my branding's better.
It's true.
Yeah. But they need it. They need it from me more than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So,
you're more relatable.
Exactly. And that's what these boys need. They need someone relatable, and they will never listen to someone that has not been there or does not understand the struggles that they're going through.
Yeah. 100%, man.
Yeah.
Well, now we're going to get to the controversial topics, man. You said something. We're going to wrap it up with this. You went middle-aged women. What do you mean by that?
You know, middle-aged women, yeah, sometimes I just like, look, I'm a very accountable person. As men, you know, like, we're very accountable. Like, I look at my life and I'm just like, you know what? My life is my fault. If I ended up in jail, it's my fault. If my girlfriend broke up with me, it's my fault. If I got a promotion at work, it's my fault. If I got more clients, it's my fault. It's 100% my fault. So I understand that everything is in my control and my power. You got some middle-aged women who get to a certain point in their life and their life isn't what they want it to be. But it's not my fault. Well, whose fault is it?
Bro, you got to be in our lives, bro.
Whose fault is it?
Is he coming out with us when we go on the speaker? Yeah. 100% you're coming out, bro.
I look at these women's lives and I'm just
But
like...
I agree. I agree. They blame everyone else but themselves.
Yeah.
Right, it's... Yeah. Oh,
That
bro.
is... You know how women say, these same women that say, men are narcissists.
Yeah.
They are the narcissist. Because a narcissistic trait is victim mentality. Blaming everyone else except yourself. That's what a narcissist does.
Full circle. Make sure you remember that, guys.
Yeah, that's right. Bitches. No, I'm joking. You know, we'll give it a wrap. Andrew,
Yes. Pleasure.
My man.
Thank you,
bro.
thank you, bro.
We're gonna
Thank
do it
you,
again,
bro.
bro.
Yeah, we'll
Thank
do
you
it
so
again,
much,
bro.
man.
Thank you for having me.
We're gonna have all your links in there. Before we end it, bro, all your socials. If you want to say it now, we're gonna have all the links in the description.
Just find my Instagram. Everything's on my Instagram. 1 Hour Training. One word.
1 Hour training.
1 Hour training.
1 Hour Training.
Is that one or ONE?
ONEOUTTRAINING. Wow, that's spelled.
I'll put it in the description just in case you didn't get that.
Just give us a men on top.
Bro,
before
just
we
a man
shut
on top. You believe in men on top, my bro?
Men on top, bro. Always.
Yeah.
Always.
man.
Alpha.
My
Alpha
man.
males. 30-minute video.
Let's go.